first of all, thank you for turning out in such large numbers at short notice. Nice to see some very familiar faces. Very happy to be staging our first UK show here in September. Even more delighted that within 6 weeks of the Wembley fight, managed to secure George a return to immediate world-class boxing at the very top of the game against the number 3 in the world, ranked by the WBC and IBF, Christophe REBRASSE. The fight will be for the European Championship and a WBC final eliminator, putting him in line to fight the winner of Ika and Durrell, which takes place in August. You know, I think that George has proved himself in the last year, if not going further back, as one of the most exciting super middleweights on the planet. Someone who has clearly developed a massive fan base over here, and someone that we believe and we know we will take to the very top. And we're just delighted that this deal was taking place so quickly. Thank you very much for Tarek for assisting over the last days as well, for REBRASSE's manager. And we look forward to fireworks on September 20th at Wembley. So over to you, George.
Thank you, Callum. Yes, it's great to be back to Wembley, back to world-class boxing. Obviously last time I was here it didn't quite go the way I hoped, but I think I've clearly displayed that I belong at world level, and in boxing sometimes it does just take one punch, and that's what ended my ambitions to become world champion back in May. But we're back on the road to that journey. The journey will continue, and you know, this is a big fight for me. It's a fantastic fight. REBRASSE is a very good fighter, a very good record, European champion, and most importantly for me is a step towards becoming world champion. So win this fight, you know, I'm right back in the picture, and for me that's vitally important. I can't wait to become world champion, and I'm sure it will happen in the very near future. So I thank Calla and everyone else who put in so much hard work to make this happen, and it will be a very exciting night at Wembley on September 20th. So it's great to be back in boxing, back in the deep end.
Thank you, George. And Christophe, maybe a few words from you.
Parler en français, je vais traduire.
Moi j'ai juste hâte d'être le 20 septembre, et puis je vais m'entraîner à fond, et puis on verra ce qui se passera le 20 septembre.
Yeah, he's going to train very, very hard. He's really looking forward to the 20th of September, and we'll see what happens there.
Okay. Maybe Paddy, your take on the opponent and the fight, or are we going to...
Not really.
Mind games already. Now what else is there to say? I mean, Tarek, maybe a little bit more about the fight's going to be received in France and the background of Mr. REBRASSE.
Thank you, Ken. Merci à tous. Je vais parler en français. Speaking French, and Michel translate is better. My English is a little bit bad. Bon, merci à Cal, merci à Sauerland de nous donner cette invitation à la conférence de presse. Nous sommes venus avec grand plaisir. Christopher était en vacances et est venu avec sa femme Julie, qui est présente pour assister à cette conférence de presse. Nous sommes là en champion d'Europe, bien sûr, mais tout en respectant le parcours de Georges. Maintenant, nous allons faire ce qu'il faut pour se préparer pour ce grand combat. Christopher est sérieux, et au jour d'aujourd'hui, il va venir en champion pour combattre ici en Angleterre, et on remercie encore le team Sauerland pour cette invitation.
Okay, so he thanks everybody, all of us, for bringing them over, and obviously Christopher and his wife were on holiday in Bulgaria, and they came from the beach and made a big effort to be here because they're very excited about the fight. Christopher's a champion, and he's going to come over here as a champion, and he's going to take the fight extremely seriously, and he's going to train extremely hard, and he thanks us all again for the effort that we've made to put everything together very quickly, and he's going to prove he's a champion when he comes over.
Thank you very much. That's a little bit the story behind it was, you know, obviously we've been looking over the last weeks what is the best way to put George in a fastest possible position to challenge for the World Championship. The other routes we felt were going to take longer. The VC very kindly, you know, took credit on George for what he's accomplished in boxing already, and has given us this chance. And you know, it's sort of been a dusk till dawn action over the last couple of days to secure this to secure the fight. The tickets will go on sale on Friday at 10 AM, and the undercard we are currently working on. We'll have a very strong undercard, of course, as is you know, part of our Team Sauron brand. Whatever country our shows are famous for their undercard, so won't be different here, and we're looking forward to it. So I'll open up any questions from anyone.
Will it be on Sky?
It's a very direct question. We're in discussions with everyone. You know, we're sure that we're going to find a good solution, that this fight has a good home.
George, how keen are you to, as the old saying goes, get back on the horse?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy much falling off the horse, but we'll be back on it soon. Ultimately, you know, I approach my boxing as a bit of a high stakes gambler. You know, I put a lot on the line, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes when it doesn't, you end up losing big too. So fortunately for me, I haven't changed that mentality. We still want to be world champion. I still have the deep conviction that I will become world champion, that this man alongside me will get me there, and also now this man on my other side will get me there. So this is, I feel, the perfect fight for me. It's against a very good opponent who's got a very good record. Got some nice belts that are on the line as well, and it is a step, obviously, in the right direction. I sold the fight, the last fight. You know, I instigated it. I made sure it took place. I packaged it, and I made it presentable. And you know, for that, I probably won't receive the credit I deserve, because rightly so, I got knocked out and don't deserve it. But you know, we'll come again, and this time round we'll. You know, we don't leave nothing to chance in the preparations for the last fight. We felt we were perfectly prepared, and we felt we were in full control of the fight. You know, whether people had us ahead or behind, we were where we wanted to be. And for the sake of one punch, ended my aspirations to become world champion. But only for that night, because the very next day I was on the phone to Callum and saying, well, what do we do now? How do we get back to work? Because
it's actually about 4 AM I received a message.
So we're back to work, and this is, as I say, in boxing terms, outside of the actual four posts, the perfect fight for me, because it sets me along the road to becoming world champion. Something that I'm sure will take place. There's a feel of inevitability for me that I will become world champion, because I won't give up. And didn't go my way last time, but I certainly know I belong at this level. And I can't wait to achieve my goals, my dreams. And you know, my journey may take a little bit longer than I hoped, but hopefully it'll be an interesting one. And I'm sure there'll be a few things that hopefully will capture the public's imagination in the build-up to me becoming world champion. And we got a good route, we got a good game plan, and the story to be continued.
George, have you worked out how you're going to play mind games to someone who doesn't speak English?
Yeah, my French isn't so good. Maybe that'll be the mind game. Who knows? I just dribble out some Del Boy style French and leave him there to try and work it out. Fortunately, my game plans don't always revolve around my game. It's more so for you guys to write something about, and for people I hope to enjoy. So yeah, you know, mind games or not, I'm sure I'll get the job done. It's going to be an explosive night. We're going to be prepared just as good, probably better than we were for the last fight. And in so many ways, this fight's much more important than the last one. You know, I lost my last 2 fights. It's not very good in boxing, and one I was very unlucky, and one I was very unlucky. So you know, in that respect, third time's a charm, I suppose. I run our way, and I'm sure we'll be back to winning ways. We want it, we crave it, and you know, I can't wait to get it.
I'll just add to that, you know, George went, I remember on Sunday, we had a show in Moscow on Sunday night. We travelled over and landed, and I had about 6 missed calls on the plane from George who'd already been plotting. And I was, you know, I've dealt with many fighters who've had setbacks, big names, and they normally like to go off and take a holiday and, you know, sort of look back at the situation really. And George was, took I think a week off or 6 days, and then he called me and said, "Look, I'm back in the gym Monday, right? Let's meet." And we've got sort of some names together, and George said, "Listen, forget names, right? You don't have to run anything by me. Just take anyone in the top 15, and you know, as long as it's going to secure the next shot." I said, "Yeah, okay. Well, you know, I might see that a little bit differently, but George said, no, listen, if that's what it takes to get the shot, that's what we'll do." You know, so okay, we ended up with a number 3. You know, also European champion, makes it a good fight. Sorry, I forgot the European. Champion. I know. You know, for me, that says a lot about a guy who's 26 years old. Let's you know, be realistic about this. George, if he was coming through the Sauerland ranks, so to speak, would we have put him in against Carl Froch in the first fight? I don't think so. I think we would have probably looked the European route and then built it up. But George went in. He went in on his own in the deep end. And as he said, you know, it was, you know, the luck wasn't on his side, and in top sport that makes a difference. You know, it was. I'm not saying Carl Froch's punch was a lucky punch. It was a great punch, but at the same time, at that point in the fight, it could have come from George as well. You know, that's fact. You know, I don't think Carl would deny that. You know, the cookie didn't crumble our way, so to speak. You know, and that the fact that George responded by not saying, "Oh well, you know, get me out in, you know, we'll take a smaller arena, we'll build myself up again slowly." But maybe it'd been a sensible approach. You know, time will tell. But you know, he just chose to go back in the deep end, and I think that's it's a risk which we believe is worth taking.
Keller, how much chance is there of David Price being on the fight?
There is a chance. You know, as I said, I'm not exaggerating. I know promoters tend to exaggerate. This deal was done yesterday. In fact, I can honestly say that the contract was signed 35 minutes ago. So, not following certain promoters, we're not announcing it without a signed contract. We have a signed contract, but at the same time, we haven't looked at the undercard. What I will tell you is it will be a very strong undercard. We are going to bring a setup around the show. We've gone for the big setup at Wembley, big house. We're going for a setup which is a little bit different to the normal setup you'll see at a British boxing show. Taking some elements from the British side, but also bringing our elements to it, which we feel that will you know, support the brand of George, because we believe that George is something that in the UK and internationally is a fighter who's going to be around for many, many years. You know, and you know, that's something that we're very, very proud to be involved with.
Carol, was there any talk of George fighting Mikel prior to this fight being announced?
Only on Twitter. No, quite honest with you, not really. Mikel's made his point pretty clear. He wants to fight. Waiting to hear back from the man on holiday, who deserves his holiday. But no, Mikel, look, that's a fight that can happen next year. Definitely, you know, we haven't signed fighters in this division to have an Abraham, to have Groves, to have a Kessler to keep them apart. No, we want to make those fights, but Mikel Kessler would sell out a stadium against a no-name tomorrow. So, you know, we have to look at making it also, it is professional boxing, it's money involved, and getting the most out for the fighters as well. For the promoter as well, but, you know, the fighters in the first instance.
Michel, could you ask Christopher how big a risk is this for him to come to England for this fight?
Oui, Christopher, est-ce que vous pensez que c'est une grande risque maintenant que vous preniez de combattre le titre en dehors de France et venir en Angleterre?
Oui, forcément un peu, mais après un ring ça reste un ring, et il se passera ce qui se passera, et après si je dois gagner, je gagnerai, s'il doit gagner, il gagnera.
Il est pragmatique.
Oui. He's very pragmatic about it. I mean, you know, it's always a risk in boxing, but a ring is a ring, and if whether it's in France or over here, you know, it'll be the same, and it'll be the same result, and he, you know, he doesn't, it's obviously a risk, but it's a risk he's prepared to take, you know.
Michel, what are you asking? I presume he saw the Froch Groves fight on film. Does he believe he can do to George what Froch did?
Vous avez vu donc le Froch Groves combat à la télévision peut-être? Vous avez vu le combat?
Ouais, j'ai regardé juste la fin.
Oui. Est-ce que vous pensez que vous pouvez faire la même chose à George que Carl Froch lui a fait?
Après, je sais pas, j'aimerais bien, après on verra.
He'd like to. He'd like to, but we'll see when they get in the ring, but he'd obviously like to do that, yeah.
I think George also,
No.
he wants a same punch
No, I don't.
to Christopher. No?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. Yeah.
Right. We're finished with questions. Now we'll do some pictures.